Hi, everyone.
Good afternoon, Adam.
All right, I'd like to bring the meeting to order. This is the Historic District Commission. The date is February 11th, 2021. Time is 4:15. This meeting was noticed in the Fairfield Citizen, January 29th, Friday, January 29th on 2021. I'm getting some feedback. Is that me or?
I think everyone needs to mute.
Yeah. Jim, can you, well, we're going to take attendance first. So, Rosina, want to start?
Rosina Negron, Commissioner.
Jim?
Art Gravanis, Commissioner.
J.C. Bohan, alternate commissioner.
George Clark, alternate commissioner.
Alyssa?
Alyssa Stack, alternate.
And Adam Cliver, Commissioner. Absent today is Commissioner Chris Shea and Commissioner Darren Raymond Locke. Okay. The voting alternates tonight will be Stack, Bohan, Clark. If I'm not mistaken, Rosina, you're probably recusing yourself on item 2. Gibson?
I could, that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to if you want. It's what you've done in the past.
Yeah, I'll continue then.
Okay, it's up to you. And I'm going to be recusing myself from item 4. So, so I think we have. Okay, so first item on the agenda is Kevin Vineyard. I think I pronounced that okay. 72 Willow Street in Southport. For property located at 72 Willow Street in Southport for A, new mudroom addition, B, relocate trash recycling enclosure, C, modify existing dormers and new, D, new pool, E, hot tub, F, pool equipment and screening, G, walks and patio, H, fencing and gates, I, modify driveway, oil and stone with metal edge, J, renovate existing barn, K, AC unit barn with screening, and L, koi pond and fountain. Have someone here to represent that application?
Yeah. Adam, it's Jack Franzen here. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi Jack.
Loud and clear, Jack.
Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen.
And if everyone could please mute themselves if they're not presenting or talking.
Okay. And I'm going to shrink this down so you can see it. I'm Jack Franzen. I'm representing Kevin Linyak on this application. We're proposing alterations and additions as well as site improvements to the house and barn at 72 Willow, which is on the northwest corner of the intersection with Old South Road. The house is listed in the guidebook as Federal/Italianate. The house was built in 1797 and remodeled in 1950. From the appearance of the barn, I'm presuming that the barn was built at around the same time as the remodeling because it's sort of an Italianate style barn. The book does not mention the renovation that took place about 30 years ago that was performed by the previous owners, the Bells. I did some research. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it was really fascinating. The house was built, according to the Historic Buildings of Connecticut website, it was built by Paul King Sheffield, who was a pirate or a privateer during the Revolutionary War with his father and his brother, and he had an armed vessel that they equipped and sailed themselves. After the war, Sheffield moved to Fairfield, married Mabel Thorpe, and became a shipmaster and ship owner. His son, Joseph Earl Sheffield, became a very wealthy, successful railroad tycoon, and he was the one who donated enough money such that Yale named the Sheffield Scientific School after him. And then later on in the house's extended life, a gentleman named James Truslow Adams lived there, and he was a pretty well-known historian, and he actually won the Pulitzer Prize for a history book. He was the guy that coined the word American Dream. And I guess, you know, living in Southport even then must have been pretty good. I have a picture of him right here. This is Mr. Truslow Adams, you know, with I think that's Charles Scribner. Must have been looking at a script or whatever. But anyway, it's an interesting house. It's got a lot of history. The house is right now. The one thing that's problematic about the house is the only way that you can get into the basement is by walking outdoors into a covered porch area, which I think I have a picture of. You have to walk outdoors, which you can imagine what it's like on a day like today or last night. You have to walk out of the door to the kitchen onto this porch, and then there's like a little scuttle stairway that goes down into the basement. And once you get into the basement, there's pretty much a full basement for the whole house. And there's a nice wine cellar built by Mr. Bell. It's not finished, but it's all clean, and the mechanicals are sort of in the middle of the basement underneath this central chimney. When you go down the basement, you can see the house has been worked on quite a few times. So what we're proposing to do, and I'm going to go back up here. What we're proposing to do is, this is the existing porch. We went to ZBA last month, and we were granted just enough square footage to add some space to that existing pavilion. And what we want to do is reconfigure it and extend it out. I think it comes out about 7 or so feet farther to the west. And by doing that, we can now go out of the kitchen into this covered porch area, which is now enclosed. And we can also have a stair that gets us down into the basement where you wouldn't hit your head. And the homeowner, Kevin, is also planning to relocate the laundry in that space if we are granted permission to build it. In conjunction with that, we're planning to relocate the trash enclosure. So over on the north side of the addition, we're going to move the trash enclosure, which is now visible from the public way. And this shows you in plan. Here's the new door to the mudroom. This is an existing. This is the existing little pantry area. This is an extension for a half bath. There'll be a closet here, and you can see the stairs that will go down to the basement. And then you can see here the west elevation of the proposed mudroom addition, and then this is the south elevation that you'll see from Old South Road. The other thing that we are asking permission to do is to change the configuration of the dormers on the east side of the house. The house it has a federal style roof line, and the dormers are right now these very horizontally proportioned windows, which you wouldn't normally see on a federal style house. So what we were hoping to do is to modify the dormers and put windows in that are more vertically proportioned, as you would expect to see, and in harmony with the windows on the rest of the house. The middle dormer we're keeping as a shed, but we're also raising those windows up. So all 5 of those windows will be vertically proportioned. One thing I should mention is that the roof shingles proposed to go on the mudroom addition are wood shingles. The shingles on the main roof are asphalt currently. And the logic of putting wood roof shingles on the addition is that the owner is intending in the future, once the asphalt roof has lived its useful life, he would like to replace it with a wood roof. So he's hoping, he'll be able to do that. And this roof is completely separate from the house roof, so I think either way it's appropriate to do. We're also planning to renovate the barn. And the barn, which I mentioned before, is at the end of the driveway. There's sort of like, I guess there's like was a chauffeur's quarters on the second floor of the barn, but it's not insulated, it's not sheetrocked, it's not got plumbing or anything. Kevin would like to improve the upper level of the barn. He wants to put a small gym up there and put a new stair on the west side that would access a half bath and also some storage, and use this as a hangout space associated with the pool that's also part of this application. In conjunction with those renovations, what we would like to do is, there's currently a barn loft door here. We'd like to put glass in that opening. We want to keep the doors, we want to keep them operable, but we would leave them in the open position, and you would see glass where there now is a pair of closed doors. We also want to reconfigure the garage doors. We want to move the most westerly garage door over to this location from where it is now, where it's sort of off center. And we want to remove this window that's currently where the garage door would like to be. On the west elevation, we want to do a similar opening to what we proposed in the loft with this would be a new window, new door shutters, or whatever you want to call them. Also, we have these new windows here. This is an existing window that we would replace. We want to add a door here, and this window would be removed. We also want to put this would be like a door that you can open vertically in the summer, and it would be used as a pass-through from the garage. On the east side, which is very hard to see because there's a lot of vegetation here, there's an existing window here, an existing window here. What we're planning to do is to replace this with a new window, add another window symmetrical with that, leave this window, and place an AC unit or heat pump here, which would be screened with evergreens in addition to the existing vegetation. There are no changes proposed to the north elevation other than maybe repairing, if there's some rotted wood. Then I'm going to go back to the site plan. We are proposing to build a pool and a patio off of the barn. The pool would be rectangular, and the patio is sort of an L shape with a small sidewalk connecting it to the driveway. The driveway is going to be extended a little bit in this area, and it's going to be shifted over about 4 feet to the west to make room for the new addition. We're going to have bluestone stepping stones going over to the trash enclosure and a sidewalk going to the new mudroom door. The pool equipment is going to be in a already shrubbed area back here, but we're willing and planning to add more screening in this area. Kevin also has a portable spa that he wants to put back here, and nobody wants to look at it. He doesn't even want to look at it, but he has a bad back and he uses it all the time. There's a little sidewalk going here. So there's a gate proposed here, a gate proposed here, and a gate for vehicles, for maintenance vehicles to come in over here. And this is the hot tub gate here. This is the gate to the that would be used by pool maintenance people that emulates the fence that's currently along Old South Road. And the koi pond, this is not exactly what it's going to look like. It would be made out of bluestone, but it would be this rectangular little fountain that is connected to a koi pond. This is not what we drew, but it shows you, it gives you the idea for it. All the materials I should mention are siding and trim are going to be all wood, all Western red cedar. The roof that I mentioned on the addition would be Western red cedar. The trash bin, Western red cedar. The flashing, red copper. The windows would be wood SDL, simulated divided light construction. The gates also Western red cedar. And the pool coping, patio and walks, the koi pond and fountain would be based. And the driveway would be oil and stone with a steel edge. We do show lighting on the plans, but we have not selected the light fixtures yet. So we only have locations, so we're going to have to come back to you when Kevin's designer selects the lighting fixtures. We're proposing one light on the front of the barn, one on the west side, and then we have a couple lights on the mudroom addition opposite either side of the door. And I think I covered everything, so I'd be happy to answer any questions at this point.
Okay, thanks, Jack. I just want to clarify that Alyssa Sack and Jim Bohan will be the two alternates on this application. George, do you have any questions?
Okay, Jack, hi, it's George Clark. As I am the next door neighbor, my question's related to the window on the second floor of the garage and lighting protruding from that window.
Okay, let me go. For some reason, I'm getting live.
Yeah. If everyone could mute if they're not talking. Jim, I see you're not muted, and there's another call-in user 8, which I can mute. I'll mute him.
George, is it this window that you're concerned about?
Yes, Jack.
Yeah. So I don't have a lighting plan for the inside of the barn, but I know Kevin would be very sensitive to your thoughts on that. You know, we could somehow say that we're going to, I don't know, what would you suggest that would make you comfortable as a neighbor?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. it's going to be a big white light if it's lit up at night. And being that it's in my backyard, it's not going to be it's replacing what is pure black today. So I don't know. I'm not sure how I can tell you what to do, except that it's going to. My fear is it could be annoying.
Yeah, I do have a thought which just occurred to me, which is, something that we do in Florida, is because they have these turtle migrations in Florida, so you have to use tinted glass.
Yeah.
And I would think he would be happy to do that. And then the light that comes out of the window is extremely diminished.
That's probably a really good solution, Jack.
We could do it in all three of those windows.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry.
I believe this is an existing if we these are new
today,
but we could make this one tinted also with an insert.
Yeah, that window is there today, but there's no light in there because there's nothing upstairs. So, it's very pleasant, to be very honest with you. And I think it's very nice looking. So my fear is the light. The other question is the pool equipment and the noise. You probably put it as far away as you can, just as long as it's the soundproofing around it to whatever extent that can be done.
Yeah, and what we could do is we could shift it over to the east a little bit. There's room to I don't see why you couldn't just go over to the east. So it'd be 10 feet farther from your line.
Might make a little difference. Yeah, sure. That's fine. But those, and the rest of the plans, I think, are really nice. It seems like a very nice neighbor. So the windows on the street side, the new windows up on the dormer windows.
Yeah.
They are a little stylistic change from what's there today. I'm not the expert on historic design, but it is going to have a little different look than what we're used to in the building. I can't talk about the correctness or lack or not. There may be another commissioner that has a better insight on that. But those are my questions. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, George. Art? Questions?
I don't have any questions right now. Thank you, Adam.
Okay. Rosina, questions?
One of my questions was about the lighting, but it was clarified that it's going to go into another submission. The other one was similar to George, the big window. Why are you guys proposing shutters to make it look just like the other elevation, like the original wood doors?
Well, I think it's just maybe the let me go back to that elevation. In other words, why go to the trouble of putting these shutters on?
Yeah.
I think it's probably unnecessary to do it. The only advantage might be that it looks like the other window. It's reminiscent of the other window. But in this case, that's the way it is now. And I don't know if it was always that way. I suspect it was, because they probably used it. They probably may have had horses in there, and they may have had hay up in the loft.
Okay. To me, it makes sense in that front elevation, but replicating something that wasn't there on the other elevation kind of throws off the history a little. So
yeah, I see your logic. So I mean, they're certainly not critical to what he wants to achieve. So I would say we'll get rid of them.
Okay, that's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosina. Alyssa.
Yes, thank you. The only questions I had were about the new dormers that you're proposing. I don't know anything about the expected style, but I agree that from what I see in the house, the flat dormers do look like they're out of place with the traditional style. And I was just wondering, how did you decide on that particular model for the dormered windows?
Well, the two dormers that have peaked roofs are the kind of dormer that you might expect to see on a federal house that has dormers. The shed dormer is just too wide to be able to put a peak dormer on it. And the internal logic of the attic, it's a finished attic, so those rooms now incorporate those dormers. So we don't want to get rid of them. They bring light in, but I think that the two flanking dormers are pretty much what you'd expect to see on a house of that period if it were to have dormers, and not so much the shed style. But I think, again, the windows that you would normally see on a dormer would be more like the proportions of the windows on the house. And many houses had windows on the first floor that were slightly larger than windows on the second floor. And then in turn, windows on the third floor might be a little bit shorter, but they would almost always have the same kind of proportion, being, vertically proportioned rather than horizontally proportioned. So that was sort of the logic of why we did this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. Jim? Jim, you have to unmute yourself.
How's that?
There you go.
How far from the public way, Jack, is that pool?
I'm going to go to.
Right.
I'm going to go to full size here. I'm trying to find my scale here, but I think I can figure it out here. Just bear with me.
What's the setback there, Jack?
Well, I know the side yard is 15 feet. So
Just eyeballing from the 32-foot dimension of that pool, it looks like
it's about 90 feet, I'm thinking, something 90 plus or minus.
yeah. We're getting a lot of pools in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not, but is this going to be the closest pool to the public way in that neighborhood?
I don't think so.
The one across the street is also quite near, on the other side of Willow Street. Yeah. Okay. The shrub screen is going to be high enough to block view from the public way.
Yeah, that's the idea. The fence only has to be 4 feet, but Kevin's would not want people looking in on his pool. So the idea here is to create privacy.
Okay.
And that's why we put the access gate over to the left, because you would be able to see through that gate, but
Right.
for the most part, you wouldn't be able to see the pool from any angle. And, you know, your comment is apropos, because there are a lot of people putting pools in. Obviously, the pandemic has made people think twice about whether going to the beach or taking their kids to a club or whatever. It's made this type of improvement, you know, much more commonplace. And I'm sure, you know, Adam and the other architects could say all these pool guys are like, some of them are booked for a year, some of them are booked until next year. So, you know, I think it's a sort of a big change in the historic district, but it was a big change when people got rid of horses and buggies too, and started having cars. And I think it's something that, you know, we have to be careful with, but if we do it right, we can make them, you know, really nice and not visible and not obtrusive.
Agree. Thank you, Jack. No other questions.
Thanks,
Adam,
Jim.
it's Art. If I did want to, I thought of something I wanted to ask Jack, if I could interject quickly. Jack,
Sure,
it's
go ahead.
Corvanis. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, Art.
Just briefly detail what your proposed solution was to George's concern about the interior lighting.
So what we propose would be a stipulation in your motion, if you want, that would stipulate using tinted glass on the windows on the west side of the barn, similar to the tinted glass used for the turtle migration down in Florida. It really cuts the light down to the point where it's not obtrusive.
Okay, so thanks. So for looking at those from the exterior looking in, do they appear like tinted glass on cars, windshields? Is it that sort of effect?
Not so much. For some reason, I'm getting a lot of feedback. But we've done many homes where we had fake windows, for instance. And during the daytime, when you look at a window, it looks black for the most part. The tinted glass, I don't think you can really tell from the outside. We've done some homes in Florida, and you can't tell until nighttime when you turn the lights on. Then it looks, you know, like the lights really aren't on, or that they're dimmed all the way down. So
okay, that sounds good. I'm good with that. Thanks, Jack. Nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Art. Jack, I don't think I have any questions. I think they were all sort of asked and answered. In terms of the dormers, I think it is a pretty big departure from what's there, but to be honest, I never understood them on the house anyway. They never seem like they're historically accurate, those shed dormers for that style of house. So changing it to, you know, the doghouse dormers and the shed in the middle, I can't say that's like inappropriate.
I did get some feedback when we went to zone, circulated the drawings to some of the neighbors, and they actually, you know, they're not on the commission, but they thought the dormers were an improvement.
Yeah, I mean, they've always been sort of odd dormers. I'm not sure if they're original to the house either.
Oh, I don't think so. I think they're from the James Truslow Adams era. And it turns out he wrote some of it. There's a study off the master bedroom on the second floor where he wrote some of his books.
What year would that have been in?
Well, he died, I think he died in the house in 1949.
Okay.
The interior of the house has, except for the kitchen that was done 30 years ago, it's pretty much the way I think it was when Adams lived there. It's beautiful.
Huh. Okay. Okay, anyway, I don't have any other questions. I think it looks pretty good. I did not receive any emails or letters in favor of this application. I didn't receive any emails or letters against this application. So if there's nothing else, the hearing's closed. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda is Carolyn and Paul Gibson, 137 Rose Hill Road in Southport. The property located at 137 Rose Hill in Southport. The application is for A, move existing fence 6 feet to property line and extend down side of house. B, new picket fence and gate. C, new screen fence and gate to hide condensers. And D, 4, new exterior lights on addition. The alternate sequence for this application is Bohan, Clark, and Steck. And I believe Rosina is going to recuse herself.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all again. Let me just try and share my screen and I'll talk you through. I'll show you on the survey, first of all. Sorry,
Can you please just identify yourself for the record?
Sorry, it's Caroline Gibson. I'm one of the owners. Okay, so I'm going to flick back and forth between a couple of different places, but this is the current survey with the new addition, which we've almost finished. Thankfully, we'll be moving back in soon. This side, we haven't ever talked about this side of it before. When we knocked down the pool, there was a fence in place that was kind of here, and went up where this line is here. We've as part of the renovation, we had to knock that down, and what we're proposing is pushing the fence back, the same screen fence that we have along the back that you guys approved a few years ago, back by 6 feet to the property line, and then putting a white picket fence all the way along here to match the one that you approved a couple of years ago that is here by the garage. And because we've had to put we've got condensers here that are visible from the street, we want to put a kind of enclosure around them so as nobody can see them. So I'll run through that next, but then the 4 lights that we're talking about putting in are on the outside of here on the kind of main doors from the addition. There's one here and one here. But it's basically to light the patio around the pool, and we're using the same light fittings that were approved twice before, one for the front doors and once for the lights on the alcove, on the garage alcove. So let me see. So this is the light application. This is the previously approved light that is already on the front of the house and the garage. And I'm sorry, I'm not actually sure. Oh, maybe I can flick it. Hang on. Oh, yeah. This is one of the spots off of the back of the house. I'm not sure you can actually see this one from the road. This is the other one. And then these are the other 2 on the main structure. I think this is pretty simple. Again, this is the one that we've used before. Ooh, sorry. So yeah, that's basically it for the light. We just want to put 4 of the same light fixtures back in to light that area. Do you want me to get this application or ask questions on the
please.
light? Okay. All right. So the fence application, as I said, it will run down the back of the house. This is the back of the house now. We're talking about pushing it 6 feet to the left here to the property line, removing these shrubs, and then coming down to where that box is there and putting out an enclosure around these condensers. The fence will be exactly the same as the one back here. And this is the view of what it looks like, but you'll see our property line is actually around where that tree is. So we're just pushing it back and grading off. We're creating a garden at the side because there is no back garden in the house. So just to go back up to the screened fence, it will be the same as what has been approved before, a contemporary solid dressed fence. Then just to give you an idea of the look we're going for on that side, sorry, let me flip it around. This is the current garage. This is the garage and the current fence that we put in a few years back. It's going to look like that. It will be the design. It will go down from the side. The only difference will be it will be higher on the edge because we're going to keep the screen fence at the same height and then go into this. This is a gate just to be able to allow access for lawnmowers, and then there will be. You see on this one, this would be how it's set up, and then there'll be a little fence around the AC units. That fence will look like this, will be a typical picket fence, and again will match the one that we have done on the other side of the house. I think that's all I have for you. Any questions?
Thank you. Jim? You have to unmute yourself, Jim.
No questions, Adam. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Art?
None for me, thank you.
Okay. Alyssa?
No questions today, thanks.
Okay. And George?
No questions.
Thank you. I just have one question. Where can you just point out exactly where the fence is going? The new picket fence, whatever gate fence?
Yeah. So the new picket fence would come here, just across the entrance on the left side of the house. So this is, you kind of come up the driveway.
Sorry, go ahead. That's driveway back there?
It's driveway, yeah. And there was a fence around here, yeah, right there, that was, and it had a gate there that was the same as the fence, the same kind of gate as the fence. So what we're proposing is, rather than doing that, which will look kind of gross, we're trying to do it more in keeping with the other side of the house.
Okay. And then that driveway disappears behind there and becomes
exactly
garden.
It's just going to be grass.
So where does the driveway end now? It's just sort of, you're gonna have that circle and it'll just keep.
The driveway, it kind of stops around here. So it's basically taking a parking spot out. There's just no point in having it there because the entrance, all the useful part of the house is now over this side. So all of the entrances, everything is coming up either at the front or around this side.
Okay.
And we don't have any garden other than the front. So we're trying to make it a safe place for the kids to play around there.
Okay, sounds good. I don't have any other questions. And I did not receive any emails in favor of this application. And I didn't receive any emails or letters against this application. So the hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Next item on the agenda is Emily and John Flynn, 340 Beach Road in Fairfield, for property located at 340 Beach Road in Fairfield. The application is for replace/add exterior doors and windows, and the alternate sequence will be Bohan Clark. Thank you. Are you muted?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, it's Emily Flynn from 340 Beach. I can try to share my screen. Let me see. Okay, can you see this now?
Yes.
340 Beach Road? Yes?
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is Emily Flynn from 340 Beach Road. We are asking for approval to replace 2 exterior doors and add 1. and to replace and add some windows as part of an overall renovation plan. We're converting a small garage space into a mudroom and adding a bathroom. All the windows and doors will be wood, and they will match the original house. And this is, as I said, part of an overall renovation. So we've already asked for approval to replace the other original windows in the house. So if we go down here to the second slide, these two windows in the bottom left of the picture are the last old windows that we're asking to replace. So they'll be Marvin all wood double hung. They'll be the same size. It will look exactly the same. The door to the right will be replaced with a, you can see it in the back of the presentation, it'll be a wood true divided light door. Though the side lights will be coming out for purposes of the interior space. To the right of that door will be a window, which is another Marvin wood double hung window to match the others in the house. And then where that single garage door is over here, that is going to be taken out and that will become a mudroom space. And so we'll have two entrances on that side of the house, both with the Simpson 7435 wood true divided light door, which I can show you in the back of the presentation. This is all on the right side of the house down the driveway and really can't be seen from the road. As we go to the next side. So the opposite side of the house is the back of the house on the left side. It's slightly visible through the trees from the Fairfield Museum Road and parking lot. We've added a lot of trees back there, so it is only marginally visible, but we wanted to make sure we have your approval. That door that you can see with the shutters on either side, we are asking to replace that with a slider that matches the other doors on the back of our house. It'll be a Marvin all wood sliding door. The small window under the lattice will be replaced with a larger casement window. We're creating a changing room for the pool in there. And we'll leave the lattice on the house, so you probably won't really even be able to see the window. Here in the next slide, you can see those are the existing doors that come out of the house. So next to the lattice will be a matching door. So everything in the back will now match. And then if we keep going here, you can see this is our driveway coming in off Beach Road. So this is the right side where we are adding the two doors, asking for approval to replace the Marvin windows and add one window. And then the opposite side of the house by the pool is where we want to add that one slider and a window. And I think other than that, these are the, this slide shows the proposed right side of the building, right side of the house, which will be the two new doors, a window, and these are replacement windows. And then this is the pool side with the slider and the one larger window that will be under the lattice. And then you can see I have all the spec sheets if you want to, dig in on that in the back of the presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you. Art, any questions?
None, thank you.
Alyssa?
I don't, thank you.
Rosina?
No questions.
George?
Emily, on the window that you're putting on the slider on the pool side, is that going to have any lighting on either side of it?
Is there going to be lighting on the other side of it?
On
It will
either
be
side
a
of it.
hallway.
No, outside on the
inside?
door. I was thinking there's nothing going to be outside here.
No.
Okay.
No, there's lighting already on the house on that side.
Okay, no, then I don't have any questions. Nice. That's nice.
Jim?
Just one question. What's the purpose of the lattice work there?
I don't know. It was on the house when we bought it.
Okay.
I don't love it, and I would like to remove it, but I actually think that if you look at the back of the house, I think the reason that it's on the side is to match the back, and the reason it's on the back of the house is to cover up the pool equipment and the air conditioner. That's the only reason I can think that it's there.
And that's existing anyway, right? Okay, no other questions.
It's existing.
I do not have any questions, and I did not receive any letters or emails in favor of this application, and I didn't receive any emails or letters opposing this application, so the hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
And last item on the agenda is Bonnie Page, 241 Ruggles Avenue in Newport for property located at 72 Rose Hill in Southport for A, revise front portico, B, revise right side pergola, C, enclose left side porch, D, add left side patio steps, E, revise previously approved windows and doors, F, replace wood roof, galvanized gutters and leaders, G, revise gutter garage doors, H, repair and add stone walls, I, add right side patio steps, J, driveway, walkway, K, wood fence, and L, replace siding if necessary. And I am going to recuse myself on this application, and I'd like Rosina, if you would. Rosina?
Okay, yep. Yes.
Can you take over this application for me? Thank you.
Yep. So is there anyone here to present item number 4?
Hi, I'm Paolo Vicent. I'm Bonnie Page's architect. I'm here to represent her. Bonnie's here along with me to fill any holes I may have in this presentation. But we had gotten previous approvals on an extensive renovation that Bonnie's going to undertake on this house. And if I can share my screen, I'll kind of go over what we hoped to get approvals to change and what was already approved.
Okay.
Let's see if I can do this successfully here. So on the left-hand side here, this was our previous submission that we had submitted. This is the existing house here facing Rose Hill. There's an existing bay window that's going to be removed, and the windows up above that we were going to change out and put new windows with these 2/2 lights and 3 new windows down here. That was previously approved on our last application. The changes to that, we are still keeping those windows as we previously are, but we wanted to change this existing portico to a much simpler shed roof portico with these kind of arched shaped brackets on either side of a really just simple square column. Staying on this side, there's an existing pergola off to the side, which you mostly can't see because it's covered up with vegetation, but we wanted to just match that similar detail on the pergola columns going through that we would hope to do on the portico. Going over to the northwest side of the house, again, previously we had, this is the existing photo of the under the pergola. Previously we had gotten approved these new sliding French doors that were going in there. We wanted to make a change on those. They were divided 2/4 lights. We wanted to match the window proportion on those and have same width with these 2/2 sliding glass doors that opened out into that pergola. On the side, again, here's the existing house. This is what was previously approved to change those windows all to 2/2 lights. What we would like to do is, because there is a kitchen space going into that, out of this frame of this window, there's actually a double hung window at the end here that we weren't changing initially, but we'd like to change those larger windows, those larger double hungs, because of the kitchen space, to the smaller 2/4 light casement windows. And because this side of the house faces the neighboring fire station, in order to get some privacy over there, we'd like to change those larger double hungs into these smaller windows, these simple panels underneath that would elongate the proportion of those windows. Continuing to the back of the house, again, on our previous approval, on the back side of this house, there was this bay window. Originally, we were going to change it into these 3 double hungs along this elevation. What we'd like to do now is change them into these larger double hungs that will be spaced, again, to get a little bit of privacy. There's also, we're planning to do a fireplace in there and enclose this existing porch here. So in order not to have, like 5 double hungs here, we simplified that to maintain 3 larger double hungs on this enclosed porch that would wrap the corner of the back side of the house. Most of this, again, is not visible from the road. And here is the final view of the house facing southwest. That's the existing house. Previous approval was to change all these existing windows into 2/2s. We managed to get an approval to enclose this existing porch from ZBA. And again, we would like to glass in that porch with these large picture windows, all wood windows, and a sliding door facing that little patio courtyard. Again, this area is kind of sheltered from the road and only really viewed by the neighbor, which is actually heavily planted. We'd also get rid of this little fence that's here. And these new steps would be added that go up into the patio and into this little side door that goes into the back of the house. Currently, you access through the steps that are pretty much in the same spot that go into the porch, and then you enter the house. There's also a little detached garage in the back. Existing is that. Bonnie doesn't need to have a 2-car garage. She'd prefer to have some storage and functional space back there. So we wanted to change the scale of that garage, make it, just more petite, so she can park her 1 car and then use the other side of the garage for storage, and have a little shelter that kind of mimics a little covered portico that mimics the front portico with those simple arched brackets. Turning to some of the landscape. Chris, before I go through, I'm just going to jump to the site plan so you can get a sense of where everything is going. So existing house, the front portico I discussed early on is here. It's pretty much in the same footprint as the existing portico. The garage I just discussed with a new portico that we're proposing here, and changing that 1 garage door into a single pedestrian door. And then the back patio with the new steps going up into that side entrance, and closing the existing porch and glassing that in, getting rid of this bay window. And then the other changes are in terms of landscape. There's an existing wall that runs the back of the property that Bonnie has discussed with her neighbor, and Bonnie's going to rebuild that wall because it's in repair it and it's in bad state, and she's going to continue the masonry of that wall to deal with some of the grades here. She would like to wrap it around the side here and lock it back into the existing. The existing wall, I have some pictures. There's the masonry work on that, and that's what we would like to emulate. I'll just jump back to the site plan. I'm going to let Bonnie kind of take over here and do some of the fencing that she's more familiar on the landscape that she kind of worked out.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We hear you.
If we look at the site plan.
Do you
and
mind
we
stating
go
your
to the
name
back
just for the
retaining wall,
record,
then-
please?
Your name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bonnie Page for 72 Rose Hill Road.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So there is an existing back retaining wall, as Paolo just said, which is in disrepair, and the neighbor had approached me about the last time when we went for the window change. And I had to talk with her, and she's very happy with me now to do the repair for her and put in some new trees and change the fence out. She also asked me to move the generator, which I had planned originally, to the side of the garage. So I moved that generator. If you look to the rear right side of the house, where the air conditioning condensers are, I moved the generator over there, which I would like to fence in and hide from the patio that's right there. And then if you go back to the rear retaining wall again, one more time, that's existing. Oops, let me just go back to this map, right. What I'd like to do, it continues, it wraps around the corner a little bit already. I'd like to just continue that wall. That corner right there, it's jogged in because it allows for the fire station property to be whatever it needs to be, apparently. So I'd just like
One
to
second, can you use
Yes.
the mouse so that we can see exactly where you are referring to?
I think we are
Is that
using
possible?
Yeah, I'm trying to use the mouse, but I don't know if it's really clear. Can you see it here?
Now? Can you see the mouse?
I can't, but
You can't see me delineating here.
No.
no.
Nope.
Oh.
It's funny, we can see it.
I will try to highlight it.
That will be good. Yes, please.
So, hold on. Can you see that?
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the
Thank you.
new corner wall that we're talking about that we would like it to add. To continue that wall and then along to the right side property line and then toward the front of the house just to the edge of the pergola. And I would like to add a fence to the top of that wall, again, just for privacy for that side patio and really from the fire department. And then if we continue along the front, I'd like to do it, I think it's set a 42-inch fence from the right front corner of the pergola patio to the new wall and fence. And that's really just to have access to the yard, but to have it closed in for a dog. The other landscaping that we'd like to do, or let's continue with the fence along the front of the property. Currently, there's nothing there. It's just heavily treed in. I'd like to do a, it's called a Martha's Vineyard style fence, but we call it Southport style fence. It's 42 inches high. I think we have a picture of it here. And it has slight, they're about 3-inch boards. What does it say? 4-inch boards with about a 1-inch space with a flat cap on the top. And then there's just little detail on the fence to match the pergola detail and hopefully the front portico detail.
Oops.
And then the fence along the side of the property, the rear of the property, we would like to coordinate with the front fence to be 6 feet high and with a 1-inch space in the middle again with a cap, just really simple, all painted white to match the house.
Okay.
The stone wall, as we were discussing, The existing stone wall is pictured, can you see it? The
Yep.
existing stone wall at the patio. So I'd like to, that retaining wall is built like that as well, and that's the wall that I'm repairing, and that's what I would like to continue with. And if you could scroll down a little more, these are the two recommended walls in the handbook. I'd be happy to do those, but I prefer to just do with it existing, so it matches.
Okay.
And then if we go back to the site plan, in the front of the house, if you look to the left, there's a tar asphalt driveway that goes all the way down to the garage. I would like to make a half circle in the front and then do the entire driveway in oiled stone, in 3/8 native stone. And then match from the driveway a walkway. You can see what's there existing, it's kind of highlighted, but just put a walkway that goes from the front driveway to the pergola and to the front door. And then there are steps on the side of the pergola that I wanted to add to have access to that side yard. And I think that is it. And
Okay,
if you
thank
go
you.
back to the stone wall section, I think there's a picture of the existing fence as well, and that's the fence that we're replacing.
Okay.
And that is currently on the driveway side, on the Church Street side. The house has been in major disrepair and hasn't been maintained, and I think the additions to it that were done originally really didn't even match the style of the house to begin with, so we're just trying to bring it back to what it was, maybe even a little better, or what it should have been.
Okay, thank you.
And I think that is it.
Thanks. Art, do you have any questions?
No, thank you, Rosina.
George, do you have any questions?
Just a second, let me.
I'll come back to you, George. Elisa, do you have any questions? You're muted.
Sorry, I guess I pressed it twice.
That's okay.
I do have some questions. Yes. So I'm having a hard time understanding what the garage is going to look like with the one door, or excuse me, one garage door and then another door on the side. Is that a typical change for this neighborhood? Is that a typical change in general? Because the symmetry of the first garage, I have to say, looks better. So I'm just trying to visualize what the change would entail.
So the garage doors that are currently on there were done, I think, in the 80s when they did a renovation. I think it was like in 1984, which is really replicate. It looks like 1984. It's a plain, like, panel garage door from those times, including openers. What we're trying to do is make a carriage door that's really more appropriate, I think, to the time of the house, which is 1880s.
Okay. So you don't have any
and the same
photographs of those doors? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
I was going to say, do you have any, I understand what the drawing looks like. Do you have any photographs of what those doors look like in the plans? I guess I missed them.
The existing doors?
No, the proposed new doors. Let me see.
Oh.
It's, okay.
I
Okay,
don't
that
have
was
a
it.
picture of those. It's basically a wood 4-panel garage door to look like a carriage door. And the single door is replicating the front door that was already approved.
Okay, so it'd be the same as on the house. Okay, thank you.
George, back to you. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I hit it, and I guess I didn't hit the mic. I was looking at your stone wall, and I have to say that I like your wall. So although I do see the other two options. As far as your garage is concerned, I guess the symmetry of the two doors is a little bit nicer, but I get your point of trying to have a walking door and not opening a garage door. The driveway isn't really drawn on the plan, but if I understand, you're trying to make okay, the way that's drawn, has that been gone to TBZ for I think that needs to get approval from the town, doesn't it?
I think we would need to get approval from engineering. I think we've had a preliminary conversation with them. That didn't seem to be an issue.
Yeah, that usually has to be approved before it comes to us.
Okay.
No, actually, they said it had to be approved by you before it went back to them. He gave me verbal approval, and he told me I had to come to you first. He said, as long as you do it, we're good.
Okay, whatever they say. Okay, then I don't have any other questions.
I just want to make one point about the garage. Because of the reality of the site and the way this garage lays out and where the house is positioned, the garage, the grade really slopes down, and you're really cut off the view of that garage. So you almost never really see, and this house is pretty close to the property, so you almost never really see the full garage from the street side.
Right. Yeah, I walked it. I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right now it's in such disrepair, anything will be an improvement.
Yes.
All right, so I think if we go on, the replacing the
Hold on
sign.
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
We have one more person that needs to make comments or questions. Jim, do you have any questions?
No questions. Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm going to pass it on now to Adam, just because I don't know if there were any letters or emails from anyone else. So thank you.
Can I just, you know what, I'm sorry, I probably get ahead of myself. I'm not so used to doing this. But if I go back and look at the application, there are a couple other areas.
Okay.
The roof right now is asphalt, and I'd like to replace that with a wood roof with half round and gutters and round leaders and galvanized. Right now they're aluminum, white.
Was this part of the application?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes,
It's
number F.
It's F.
Okay. Yep.
And then if I
Go
go
ahead.
down, also the siding is necessary. I'm hoping it's not, but I am finding a lot of surprises of rot. So if I have to replace that siding with like siding, I would like to.
Okay.
With the same reveal.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Any of the commissioners have any additional questions or comments based on the information on item F? Okay, I'll pass that on to you, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosina. There were no letters or emails in favor of this application, and there were no letters or emails against this application, so the hearing is closed. Thank you.
Oh, I was just confirming that we presented something, so we're good with the roof. Okay, sorry. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Moving on to consideration of the public hearing items. We'll start with the first item, which is Kevin Linack, 72 Willow Street, Southport, for property located at 72 Willow Street in Southport for A, new mudroom addition, B, relocate trash recycling enclosure, C, modify existing dormers, D, new pool and new dormers, new pool, hot tub, pool equipment and screening, walks and patio, H, fencing and gates, I, modify driveway oil and stone with metal edge, J, renovate existing barn. K, C units in the barn with screening, and L, koi pond and fountain. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Adam,
Voting
this
on
is
this
Art.
application is Stack Bohan. Go ahead, Art.
Adam, this is Art. I would offer a motion to approve items A through, is it J?
L.
Items A through L as presented.
Okay, Art. Motion to approve A through L as presented.
Am I voting on this one?
I'll second.
Who's somebody's got their mic on and it's coming to. Thank you. That's so I'm sorry, do we have a second?
Yes, Alyssa, second.
Okay, Alyssa seconds. Discussion?
Am I voting on this one, Adam?
Yes, you are, Jim. I said Jim.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Thank you.
Stack Bohan are the two alternates on this application.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Rosina?
My only comment is regarding the shutters on that side new window that they're proposing. I feel that it kind of competes with the existing door that makes sense in the other facade, but it doesn't really make sense in that side view.
This here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, which shutters? Did you say don't make sense?
In this west elevation, it says provide shutters, same material as driveway side doors. So in my opinion, the driveway side doors becoming shutters for that new window makes a lot of sense because it's keeping historic fabric. But in this one, it's replicating historic fabric that really, it's just for aesthetics and nothing else.
You're talking about here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then my other comment will be, do we need to include that they are proposing the tinted glass for this elevation, or
I think we should make a stipulation. Yeah, there are two items. The tinted glass was one request, or and then making sure that the pool equipment was as far away from the neighbor as possible.
Yep.
Adam, on the tinted glass, I wanted to just an observation. Is that is the effect of that, which was the interior lighting that George, as the neighbor, was concerned with? Is that within our purview as the commission?
I think so. I think light definitely has an issue. Somebody's got. I think it might be you, Art.
I know, but we're discussing this, so I have mine open.
I know. Maybe you can just mute it. Yeah, there you go. So I can speak. Yes, I think light is an issue with this. Is under our purview for sure. I mean, we regulate, how many exterior lights you can have, and we regulate uplighting, and so site lighting I think is an issue. So if a neighbor is concerned that a new window on an elevation that really had no windows before, and this this elevation is the one that he's talking about, right? West elevation, and all of a sudden we're adding 3 windows to something that was black, and all of a sudden he's going to have, potentially light glaring through. I think it's in our jurisdiction to suggest or stipulate that the glass be tinted to manage that.
Yeah, I'm totally okay if that's why I asked the questions of Dak on what those tinted windows look like, and it sounds fine, and certainly if that helps George as the neighbor. But I would disagree as to in another situation, if a neighbor is concerned with a lamp that's on the other side of the room and he can see into it, I don't believe that's within our scope.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
So my concern is that he's more worried about. Yeah, again, I think the solution is sounds acceptable, and I trust that that's all, and I'm glad George won't have the lighting. But again, as a commission, I think if someone else comes in here complaining that someone's putting a window and all of a sudden he can see the TV or a lamp or task lighting, I don't think we can set that precedent, because I think clearly that's not within our scope.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a change in appearance. So, I mean, whether
right, but the light behind the tinted glass is not a change in appearance, and it's an interior focus. So, again, and if we're saying it's a change in appearance and we approve that, and we all agree it's historically appropriate, then the tinted glass is irrelevant.
Good point.
And I'm prepared to vote in favor of that stipulation. But, again, I'm just saying, and no disrespect to George, if George wasn't a commissioner and a neighbor, this issue wouldn't come up, and, we would have to disapprove of it.
So will it make sense instead of a stipulation on the tinted glass to be something kind of hopefully the architect and the owner?
Sorry, Art, are you on speakerphone or something?
Sorry, I didn't mute it. Rosina, I'm prepared to vote in favor of the stipulation. I'm just saying, as a, I just think the scope of what we approve or disapprove is important, and to keep that in mind for future ones. And just because a neighbor says, well, I don't like the light coming through the window, that's not our business.
Yeah, and I agree, but maybe instead, not to create a precedent, instead of putting it as a stipulation in the application, to hope that the owner and the architect will provide that suggestion that he brought forward. And the only stipulation to put in.
I'm with you, Rosie. I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize. But, just thinking of it and hearing Jack speak, I'm saying that's really not what we do. And we're not an advisory board. We determine appropriateness. And my thinking was that, that's really something that neighbors should work out amongst themselves, and it shouldn't be placed in an application for a certificate of appropriateness. That's all.
And I agree. So perhaps the stipulations that we put in, if anyone agrees, the shutters and the one that Jim brought forward with the pool equipment. So just my 2 cents.
I respect that. I appreciate it. And I hope you all, see where I'm coming from in the spirit of why it's offered. Again, I am prepared to vote in favor of the stipulation as it was presented in the hearing.
So what is the stipulation? Are we going to stipulate that the shutters are to go as well? Or deny the
my
shutters?
Comments were for the tinted glass, Adam.
No, yeah, I get it. But Rosina, I think, has an issue with the shutters.
Okay. I didn't mean to, yeah. I'll go along with whatever else anyone wishes with regard to the shutters as well.
So, Rosina, I mean, I don't have a strong feeling either way about the shutters. I do think they're, just looking at this, I think they're a little out of place.
Yeah.
But they're matching these on the front, I guess, on the proposed.
Yeah, but kind of my point of view is that, yes, the front ones make sense because it's opening those original doors. But
right.
The side one, it's just a replication of something that was there in a different elevation. So
I don't feel strongly either way. I'm not sure how everyone else feels, but if Art was willing to stipulate the his motion to deny the shutters and to tint the windows and to make sure that the pool equipment is pushed as far from the neighbor's property as possible.
I'm willing to stipulate, Adam, to the tinted windows. I think we need to tighten up the shutter stipulation just a little bit, but I wouldn't be prepared to stipulate on something that loosely worded, like moving it as far as possible. I'm not sure that's enforceable.
Okay.
A clarifying question. We would be stipulating to move the pool equipment for issues of sound or sight. My understanding was it was for sound issues. So
yes,
I guess my question is, do we have the authority to move for sound issues?
I mean, how does that relate to historical appropriateness, the sound issue?
That was my question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
I don't think it really does. Especially there's not a whole, you can't move the equipment that far to make any significant amount of difference. So.
Yeah, and again, we're not a body that issues opinions. I mean, we issue decisions if we're voting on something. So either we approve it or we deny it, or with or without prejudice.
Okay, well, Art, if you'd like to make an amendment, however you feel fit, please do, and we can move on.
Again, I can hopefully you can still hear me. Rosina, would you give me a suggestion on the stipulation regarding the shutters, how that should be worded?
So basically, it will be. In my opinion, everything is okay with the exception of those shutters. So with the stipulation of the shutters in the additional window are not provided or something like that. Because those are the only shutters in the whole project, so.
You're off, Art.
Sorry, it's just toggling back and forth. I apologize. So, Adam, I would make the motion to approve items A through L as presented with two stipulations. The first being the windows on the upper, the new windows on the upper elevation be tinted, and secondly, that those same windows be added without shutters.
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, all in favor? All opposed?
My audio disconnected.
Oh, okay, so should we do that again? Where's Alyssa? Did she get disconnected?
Nope, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. Can you turn your video back on so we can see how you're voting? You're voting on this application?
Oh, my video is on. You can't see me?
No, you've gone blank.
Oh, okay.
Due to low bandwidth or local computer conditions such as something, I don't know. You can just,
That's
I
weird,
guess, verbally.
My camera says it's still on. I'll try stopping and starting.
Yeah, maybe.
Can you see me now?
Nope, not yet.
Okay. Can I vote verbally and then I'll leave and
Sure,
come back?
of course.
Okay.
It says something about low bandwidth.
For me?
Anyway, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what it means.
I don't know,
Anyway,
because I
okay.
see me on the screen, so that's very weird.
That is weird. So again, all in favor?
Aye.
Can you repeat the motion because I missed the whole? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It was Art made a stipulation to approve. Well, made a motion to approve A through L as presented with two stipulations. One is to for the windows on the upper elevation be tinted, and that those same windows not have shutters.
Okay.
And it was seconded by
Thank
Alyssa.
you.
And okay. So again, we'll
Yep.
the third time's a charm. All in favor?
Yes.
And Alyssa, you agree?
I agree.
All opposed? No opposed? No abstentions. So the motion passes unanimously.
Okay. I'll be right back. I'm going to try this again.
Okay. We'll wait for Alyssa to reconnect. There you are. Okay. Next item on the agenda is Carolyn and Paul Gibson, 137 Rose Hill, for property located at 137 Rose Hill. 2A, move existing fence 6 feet from property line and extend down side of house. For B, new picket fence and gate. C, new screen fence and gate to high condensers. And D, 4 new exterior lights on addition. Can we have a motion?
I'm recusing myself, so I'll stop my video.
Okay, and Rosina is recusing herself. And
Can you see me now?
yes, we can see you.
Excellent. I'm back.
So all three
and I'm
alternates
sorry,
are on this.
So I'm voting. Okay, got it. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Which one are we discussing now?
It's the Rose Hill, 137 Rose Hill. I just read it. To move existing fence 6 feet, new picket fence, new screen fence, and 4 new exterior lights on addition.
I'll make a motion to approve A through D as proposed.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion? Okay, so all in favor? All opposed? No abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. And Rosina's back. Next item is Emily and John Flynn, 340 Beach Road in Fairfield for property located at 340 Beach Road in Fairfield for a replace/add exterior doors and windows. And Bohan Clark are the alternates on this application.
Excuse me a minute.
Would someone like to offer a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve item A as presented.
And I'll second it.
Discussion? No discussion? We'll take the vote. All in favor? 1, 2, 3. Where's Jim?
Jim, where'd you go?
Okay. All opposed? And abstentions. I guess we're going to have Mr. Bohan abstain. So the motion passes 4 to 1.
Hey,
I'm
Jim.
sorry, I'm back. I'm sorry.
He did second it.
No, you did.
I'm sorry, you're right. I'm
So Jim,
behind
you
you
weren't
on-
here for the votes. You abstained, but the motion still passed. So next item on the agenda is Bonnie Page, 241 Ruggles Avenue in Newport for property located at 72 Rose Hill in Southport for A, revised front portico, B, revised right side pergola, C, enclosed left side porch, D, add left side patio steps, E, revised previously approved windows and doors, F, replace wood roof, galvanized gutters and leaders, G, revise garage doors, H, repair and add stone walls, I, add right side patio steps, J, driveway, walkway, K, wood fence, and L, replace siding if necessary. And I am recusing myself, and Rosina will take over. And
Okay.
All three.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve items A through L as presented.
Okay.
Let me second that.
That was Jim?
Yep.
Thank you. Any discussion? You're muted, Alyssa.
Sorry. Sorry.
That's okay.
I keep like this all day long. You'd think I get the hang of it by now. So I have a question about those garage doors, because it looks radically different to me, and I just want to verify that it would be going back to a more authentic historical look, as opposed to just one of convenience. Because we couldn't get pictures of the doors, I was having a hard time visualizing exactly what it would look like. So I just want to hear from the more experienced members on the commission if that's, would be consistent with what we would approve.
I see nothing historically inconsistent, and that's number one. And number two, I think the garage is far enough away from the public way that it's going to be barely visible. It is
Yeah, I
a change.
have no
yes.
problems
Right.
with the
it is a
visual
change.
aspect of it.
It is a change, I completely agree, but I don't think it's in any way inappropriate.
Okay, that was just a clarification I needed. Thanks.
And it could always be reversed back to garage doors if in the future it's needed. So it's in a way, a reversible type of change. So. Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
So shall we vote? Anyone in favor? I guess no one opposed, so I'll bring it back to Adam.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Next on the agenda, we have to approve minutes from the January meeting. Guess Rosina, you were probably the only one who wasn't there who is here tonight. So can we get a motion to approve the minutes?
Let me make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Okay.
And a
I'll second that.
Is that Alyssa?
Yes.
Okay, Alyssa seconds. All in favor? And the motion passes unanimously. Chairman's report, the repairs, 171 Old South Road, replace existing siding and trim with like materials. 780 Harbor Road, replace cedar roof in kind. 647 Pequot Avenue, replace existing wood deck with new wooden deck, replace wooden sashes and 2 existing windows with new in-kind wooden sashes. 506 Jennings Road, replace window panes with insulated glass by Window Restoration of Connecticut. 2860 Bronson Road, replace existing bedroom windows on south side in kind. There are no violations, although I think I'm going to be issuing one to the Old Post Road. I forget what the number is. The letter that we received from Mr. Backey that I think everyone received and read regarding the fence. And he also has the arbor that he hasn't, he knows he has to come back for, but he hasn't. And month goes by and he hasn't applied. So I think he needs to deal with that. So I think I'm going to have to issue a violation to get them to act. Old business, discussion of the handbook revisions. Dara's not here tonight, but she did reach out to me and tell me that she hasn't received any comments from the commission, and I know some of you have offered to help, and it'd be great if you could just send her an email with any items in the handbook that she should address or you think she should address. I think there are some holes in it that we all have witnessed over the past years. I don't know, Alyssa, you probably haven't seen too many issues yet, but if you look through the handbook, you might find things that are not clear or something like that. Any other comments on the handbook by the commission?
What's your thought on
I was
adding-
kind of.
Oh, go ahead,
Rosina.
I was kind of out of commission the month of January, so I'll reach out to her because I have a few things.
Yeah.
So
That'd be great. Yeah. She feels like nobody's really reached out to her. Not really going forward. Jim?
Can you send an email with her email address? And I will.
Well, her email address would be on the emails I send you. You should be able to get it through that.
Good.
If not, let me know and I'll get it to you separately.
What's the feeling about adding an index? I know that is not an insignificant amount of work.
I don't know. Ask her. Talk to her about it. If you send her an email and make that suggestion as whatever you're thinking of. I'm not really sure what you're considering, but that'd be the thing to do.
Okay.
Okay. And new business, we have one that came to my attention that our November meeting date is on Veterans Day, and I guess we can't have meetings on Veterans Day. It's against the rules. So we need to come up with a new date in November. I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on that.
November.
So I can tell you
Is there a precedent for moving
The
it
November
forward a week or
dates-
backward a week?
well, I guess, we have to figure out number one, which I don't know. I guess we have to come up with some thoughts on it and see if we can get the WebEx portal at that time. We can move it. I mean, we can move it anywhere we want. We can move it ahead a day, or forward a day. Any
So it
suggestions?
doesn't have to be a Thursday.
No, it doesn't have to be a Thursday.
Okay.
Any preference to anyone?
I have no preference or no conflict with anything in that vicinity.
Whatever
If
you
it's
choose,
not a
that'll work
Wednesday,
for me.
it'd be easier for me.
Yeah.
What's easier for you?
Go by WebEx availability.
I have faculty meetings on Wednesday, so if we could stick to a Thursday, that would be
Okay.
great.
Okay, that's good to know. I guess we can push it to. Let's see.
Wouldn't pushing it to the 18th be more beneficial because the people that are coming the next time could still submit in the same timeline versus if we push it forward, there's less time to review things?
Yeah, the 18th is fine with me. If the WebEx is available.
I mean, the thing is that the deadline for the next meeting is the 17th. For the December meeting. So maybe we move it forward. I think we run into the same problem because no matter which way you move it, that 3-week deadline is gonna. So let's just do the 18th. I'll see if that works with the town. Okay.
Yep.
All right, good. 18th it is.
Sounds good.
Any other new business that anyone would like to bring up? Okay. Well, then we just need a motion to adjourn. Rosina, you look like you're about to say something.
I'll make that motion. Second it.
I know some people attended the meeting for the Old Post Road pedestrian
yes.
thing.
Chris was one of them.
I wasn't there, but I know that something came out today that the crossings on both the church and the 2 crossings between the church and Beach Road are going to be revamped by something that one of the RTM members put together. So that was outside of the whole meeting. That's kind of the only thing I know. So.
Okay. Jim, did you get to attend that?
No, I did not.
Okay. I mean, nobody reported back to me with anything. I think Chris was supposed to go, but he didn't say whether he made it or not.
I believe Chris went. So
okay.
Let me see if I find. I saw it today either in one of my emails or in something else. I'll reach out to you if I find it, and I'll copy you so that you know what exactly was. But it's basically they are doing some work on those 2 crosswalks outside of whatever happened in the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, George, back to the motion to adjourn.
Yeah, we can do that. I second it.
Who made the motion? Art made the motion to adjourn? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it
And
was
then
George
George
second.
second. Thank you. All in favor?
All in favor.
Okay,
Good
thank
night,
you. We're
George.
adjourned. Good night. Thank you, guys.
Night, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam.
Night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks.